Now in this video, I'm going to go over what it actually takes to create a 5-star client experience in your agency. Because so many people go over what it takes to go and get clients, but not enough people discuss what it actually takes to retain them. And this 5-step process gives you exactly what needs to happen to retain your clients for not just months, but potentially even years. And not just retain them, but also provide you the opportunity to potentially upsell them and get them to invest in further services in your agency, but also refer you over to other business as well. And that there is super, super important. So I always refer to this client experience a bit like going to a 5-star restaurant. Now, when you go to that 5-star restaurant, it's not just the food that makes it brilliant, is it? It's the overall experience that you have. It's the welcome at the door. It's your waiter. It's the way that they were super attentive. It's the way that your food was really, really nice. And I relate that exactly to how your client experience should be within your agency. So the first step of this is sales. And it is your handover from sales. Oh, how did I get that line? Sales to onboarding, to your delivery team. Now, with your sales process, at the end of it, a client has said, yes, brilliant, you've got a client that wants to work with you. Now, it's not just going, I'm going to hand you over your agreement, you'll get your invoice, and then we'll get started. Explain to them what's going to happen next. Explain that, right, I'm going to send you over your agreement. If you could just take a little bit of time looking over that. Once you've got that signed, your invoice is going to be coming over to you. And as soon as you've got that taken care of, and this will depend on whether it's you or whether it's an account manager at the time, we'll be sending you an email pretty quickly after that's done to explain to you the next steps. Explain to them a little bit about what's going to be in that email. Don't go and just leave them kind of, oh, right, okay, I'm not too sure. Tell them, right, in that onboarding email, there is going to be a form. I really, really need you to fill that out. It's super important because the quicker you get that filled out, the quicker we're able to move forward and get started. Then go over. Within that, we're going to be requesting access to your assets. So let's say you are onboarding someone for Facebook ads. In there, it is going to explain to you exactly how to give us access to your business manager and your ad account. Cool, okay, perfect. And you can then say, if someone's like, oh, right, okay, I'm a bit unsure about that, no problem. We've got our onboarding call, which we'll go over that in. And any questions you've got, you can ask in that as well. We're always here via email before you get onboarded as well, so don't feel like you're stuck at all. But this here is your welcome at the door. It's that person that's really kind of welcoming them into the agency, and that is why this handover is so important. It's that handover of being taken to your table and then being handed over to that next person, which is your waiter in an agency. But one thing I would say on the kind of overall sales handover, if you can get your onboarding call booked in at the end of your sales process, that helps a lot because it shows that both of you are being proactive. But it also allows you to say, right, what I'm going to do is before that onboarding call, I'm going to have a quick chat with the team. We're going to start to prepare some ideas for your strategy so we can go into that onboarding call with some ideas to present you as well. But get them excited about this process because it can be quite overwhelming, that handover process, if they're like, maybe they're not that tech savvy. And they're suddenly thinking, oh, right, okay, I'm not too sure how to give access to my business manager. Don't worry, we're here to help you. And we're going to be getting stuff done our side as well. We're not putting it just on you. You can reach out to us whenever you need. Very much like the person at the door will hand over and say, like, this was my name. If by any chance you do need anything, just give me a shout. But our second step then is our onboarding. Now, our onboarding is one of the most important processes in our agency. Now, I will do a separate video on this because it is so detailed. But your onboarding is that experience in a restaurant of when the waiter comes over, introduces themselves, gives it like that little bit of small talk in regards to like, are you guys here for anything special? Is there anything that's taking your fancy? Takes your drink order and really outlines the overall experience that you're going to get at that restaurant. Now, in your onboarding, you should be helping them with things. You should be there giving them the next steps. What does it actually look like to work with you guys going forward now? How often will they be hearing from you? What are the things that they possibly, or we possibly need as an agency that they need to go and provide us further? All of these things to create that overall really positive onboarding experience. But you want them to leave that onboarding call thinking, oh wow, right, I've really been taken care of here. All of my questions have been answered. They've done bits their side because they've just presented a couple of ideas in regards to strategy for me. They've shown me exactly how they're going to help me to get to that end goal. I feel like I don't have any questions. I have trust in them already. Because if you do have a poor onboarding process as an agency, it makes it so much harder to go and retain clients, like significantly harder, because you instantly lose that trust. And these people have just invested a sum of money with you. If they do have that negative experience, or an experience which just doesn't instill them with trust, of course it's going to be harder to keep them for longer. But that is why your onboarding is so important. Now, your third step then, which is your middle step, your food in your restaurant. So as an agency, it is your delivery. Now, delivery alone doesn't keep clients. And that's where a lot of agencies get it wrong. It's very much like if you go to a really, really fancy restaurant, and most of us have experienced this, the food was really good, but the service was rubbish. And when you're talking to people then, you go, yeah, I had a lovely meal, but the service wasn't great. I was sat there, I didn't have a drink for 20 minutes. I was struggling to get anyone's attention. That is exactly why delivery alone doesn't keep clients. Now, your delivery is super important because that is why these clients are working with you. They're working with you to get an end result, and that is usually growth. Same way as you go to a restaurant to eat food, but it's the overall experience that they have working with you. And this really is where people will get stuff going, well, I'm getting all my clients really, really good results, but they're still leaving, or I don't get as many referrals as I thought I would. Well, okay, let's not just look at the results, because that is only one part of a much bigger experience that people have working with you. And let's look at, well, what is their overall experience? Do they feel really taken care of? Do they feel like, wow, right, I would never have a need to go to anyone else because I'm so well taken care of at this agency? Because they can go to other agencies for results. A lot of people can do that. It's the experience which will make you stand out against your competitors. That is why delivery is, yes, 100% super important, but it's not the overall client experience. Because it's like I just said at a restaurant, if you have poor food, if you have good food, but a poor experience, are you inclined to go back there? Not necessarily. But by having the overall really positive client experience, let's say something did go wrong in delivery. Let's say something happened to their account, or you're struggling to get results a little bit, because that can happen. Not all of us can get kind of like perfect results 100% of the time, because there are things that are outside of our control, such as like, Facebook on the 25th of September, wasn't it? They went and threw out a change. And you did. As an agency, you saw things get a little bit rocky, but you tackle it and you get over it. But it means that just because our results maybe weren't so good for a couple of days, some agencies, I saw it take a little bit longer because they weren't maybe as proactive to react to it. But by having that overall positive experience, clients trust you that you're taking care of these things. They're actually trusting you that if something goes wrong, don't worry, I know they've got it handled. And that there really does take on to the next point, which is communication. Because you never ever want to be reactive. You always want to be proactive. Because let's say something bad is going on with delivery. You can kind of solve that with going, right, okay, you are the one that should be reaching out. You shouldn't be having the client coming to you saying, I haven't had leads in a couple of days. That's not good. We need to be proactive. Hey, saw that leads been a little bit slow the past couple of days. Don't worry, the team's on it. We're taking care of it. No need to panic. We're already making optimizations. We should see the improvement in the next couple of days. But being proactive with that. And then overall is communication. I always say to agencies, if you can do weekly communication, that's brilliant. But you always want it to be at least bi-weekly. So every other week. Now you can kind of structure that in. A lot of agencies will do it, say the 15th and the 30th of each month. And one of those points of communication will be via a text, email. Don't use your personal phone for text. Use something like high level around that. WhatsApp, these different communication platforms. And then your other one should ideally be a call. Now, within that, I would always encourage kind of reaching out to clients at other points as well. But as an absolute minimum, that should be what you're doing. And within those communication points, and again, I'll do a further video on this because there's so much to unpack with client communication. But within those communication points, celebrate wins, talk about what you've done, talk about how awesome some of the results have been, talk about what you potentially need from them, ask them, right, how are the leads doing, or have you found that you've had an increase in kind of website inquiries, because I can see our side, you're having a lot more form fills. All of these different things, you can go and discuss with them in communication. And then at the end of every month, I always encourage at some point, a lot of people do it at the end of the month, make sure that some sort of report is going. It doesn't need to be some really fancy one with all this data that clients are never going to look at, but a summary of what you've done that month and a summary of their results. But that there really is why communication is so important. Your last point then is strategic review. Now, loads of people miss this, and it is so, so important. Now, a strategic review really is what is not only going to help show a client, wow, they're really on top of it and all of that, but it really shows them that, right, there is a reason for me to stay, and it's a reason for me to potentially upgrade my services as well. So you've gone from your communication in a restaurant, which is your way to coming over, how's your food, all of that, checking in regularly, to your strategic review. How was your meal? How's your time here been? Would you like some desserts? Would you like to go to our bar downstairs? All of these different things. Now, a strategic review, I always encourage agencies to do it at least quarterly, because not only does it act as a retention tactic for the next 3 months, but it also shows them that you care about their business. Now, as a business owner, it is lonely. Very few people care about what your business is going to look like in the next 3 months. Whereas if you can show that we are thinking about their next 3 months and we're staying on top of things, they are much more inclined to think, wow, right, okay, I know what their plan is for the next 3 months. They've asked me what my plans are. Have I got any new launches? Are there new offers I want to do like this time of year? Oh, I've been thinking, actually, I do want to do a Black Friday sale. We can discuss all those things in a strategic review. As an agency, it helps us to retain clients, but also helps us to plan in regards to knowing, right, this client is going to be doing a launch here, or they're going to be doing an offer here. We know what to expect. Clients can always throw things in out of the blue, but we have an idea of what to expect over the next 3 months with that client. But as a client, they also feel really well taken care of. So a lot of people miss that strategic review section, and it is so, so important, because that ultimately is what's going to allow you to upsell clients. It's going to allow you to kind of give them the little seeds, or plant that little seed of kind of referring you across to other businesses as well. But that's why that strategic review is so important. But your 5-star client experience is what's going to help you to keep clients. Just getting them results isn't going to retain clients alone. But by implementing this, and I will create breakdowns on each of these, but by implementing this, it's going to allow you to keep clients for not just months, but it'll help you to keep them for years. And you've got clients then that have so much trust in you, they have no reason to go anywhere else. So if you do have any questions on this, obviously feel free to ask, but I will be creating videos on each of these as breakdowns and exactly how to do that in a lot more detail, so you can go implement them as well.